Hello boys and girls, welcome back to Chaos Child. I'm NoodleHouse, and Serika was running. She was out of breath and had a terrible headache. There was sweat all over her body, and it wasn't from exhaustion. Running a few minutes wasn't enough to tire her out. Compared to what she had to do in her mind and body to commit the murders, this was nothing at all. Crap. Oh, crap! She touched a small cut on her stomach as she ran. She felt slick blood, a sensation she was long tired of. She would probably have to stitch it up, but if her organs weren't ruptured, she'd be fine. She was used to getting stitches without anaesthetic. She didn't even need a towel to bite down on to relieve the pain. She was a monster! The needle didn't even need to be a medical one. But this terrible headache was new to her. Serika stopped when she saw there was no one around. You're slowing me down! She punched the wound on her stomach hard, 2 or 3 times. The sensation of a fierce external pain, a sensation she was used to, ran up her spine. She'd hoped it would alleviate the pain of her headache. She hoped that her brain would decide the pain of her open wound was more important than the headache. But the headache didn't stop. It felt like a cold needle was being driven into her head with every heartbeat, as her mind screamed at her that something was terribly wrong. She knew why. Just trying against his powers did this to me, huh? Her head hurt, but her mind was still capable of clarity. Her foe was far stronger than she'd expected. Mind control. An unimaginably horrible form of hypnosis which could make anyone do whatever you wanted. When he was an ally, she thought it was the greatest power imaginable. Now that he was an enemy, it seemed like the worst. No, that's not right, she laughed to herself. He hadn't been an ally. He hadn't been a helper or a co-conspirator either. If you could call him anything, he was a blackmailer. Okay. The phone in her hand trembled. How can a phone tremble? It wasn't the one she'd used when she pretended to be a normal person. She destroyed that a while back, so the police couldn't track her. It was the one he'd given her for communicating with him. It probably belonged to someone they killed, or perhaps he'd used mind control to steal it from someone who he never knew was gone. She sat at the screen for a moment, but finally decided to answer it. How's your stomach? Fun fucking nose. That's the voice now. Sorry, you attacked so suddenly. My body just moved on its own. Liar, you were expecting it. I could read your mind. He must have found something funny, because the man on the other end laughed. That's just like you, the way kids should be, though. So, can you at least tell me why, right? I'm doing that because it's meant to be, like, clearly distorted. That's my excuse. You know damn well why! Serika's voice was filled with rage. He knew, and yet he asked anyway. He was either a sadist or some kind of sick hedonist. The methods he came up with for his murders always felt like one big joke. Why you make Takuru Miyashiro out to be the killer? The plan was to make it look like Henry Minamisawa was behind these. Oh, I read that in his voice, not hers. Are you saying I was responsible? Of course you were, asshole, she thought. A warrant had been put for Miyashiro only a few hours after Nonokuruzu's death. In a way, that would normally never be possible. There's no way they'd given a miner's real name out in the span of time, unless he had used his power. What the hell are you thinking? He's not too much. I'm actually compromising for your sake. What? So my meaning powers help me a lot. I might have had to kill him, but instead I'm just going to have him arrested as the killer. She hated the fact that she was on the phone. Not being able to see him, she couldn't read his mind. She wanted to know what he was really thinking. It's just better for your plans if he's a criminal, not Sari Minamisawa, right? He'll be locked away, where he can't tell anyone anything, and the press will think that he was the one who killed his sisters, and talk the story even more. That will attract even more attention to the sumo stickers. And do you seriously expect me to believe he'll get off just in the rest? As with the first murders on September 7th, Miyashiro was 18 years old. There were 7 victims. No miner has ever committed that many murders. The way public opinion is going, there's a 99% chance he'll get the death penalty. Do you think I wouldn't know that? We won't know until he goes to trial, will we? And when that happens, you'll be controlling the whole thing. Serika yelled into her phone, and the man started laughing again. She didn't know if it was because she'd yelled or because his laughter pissed her off, but the headache got worse, which only made her madder. You really are great. Why don't come back to me? Your powers are of great value to me, and they're smart. You're smart, you have guts too. Shut it up! Your safety was a working condition I had helping for, helping you. You're also stubborn. I don't care about anything but that. Takuru Miyashiro's survival. That was the one thing she cared about since she came into this world. Being a murderer, being an accomplice to murder, using her mind-reading powers to find sidekicks, she's done it all for that reason. But now... So let me ask you then, what will you do now? You're not going to take him and run, are you? Sarika managed to stop herself from speaking. He was right. She thought it was the only way. That's impossible, you know it. You won't know until we try. Your power is a threat, but maybe there's not much someone so low on the community's totem pole can actually do, is there? That's why I come to her for help, right? She thought that this was her only chance to save Miyashiro. The police don't have him yet. That's because you don't know where he is, do you? You want me there, that's right. I'm all the way at the bottom of the org chart. I don't even know who the main members are. And then he spoke in a voice that sounded a little too deliberate. She could sense his lips curling into a smile. Maybe I'll start with Frisia. She finally gave a small gasp. She thought that was where he was hiding too. How did he know about Frisia? When she whispered that to herself, he said, Listen, they know me all about Frisia. Do you know how much he and Nono trusted me? Die, asshole! Sarika hung up the phone and started to run, ignoring the pounding in her head. I see. So that's it, Kunasato said in a voice that was almost too soft for her. And then she put her hand up to her head and started to think. I told Kunasato the same thing I just told Shinjo. Shinjo had brought me back to Frisia and given me a stern warning not to leave again. Then he'd quickly gone back to his investigation, in theory, looking for me. Really, stop being stupid, Miyashiro. That's right. Arimura was crying and screaming. They're going to arrest Miyashiro. It was a mess. I was not crying. Both Arimura and Momose were worried about me. I was glad for that. The only ones who knew the truth were three of them, Shinjo, Kazuki, and Uki. May have had different goals, but if nothing else, they knew I wasn't the killer, and they were working to find the real killer, Sarika. Only now did I realise how stupid it was for me to run away. Compared to this morning, the thick fog in my brain had lifted a little. No, I'm fine. You're not. You're dead. Don't think about revenge. Don't do anything dangerous. Live the same life as everyone else does, and don't get buried among the crowd. The words in the letter were like heavy weights, keeping me grounded. Miyashiro, Arimura. Kunasato turned away from the computer screen and towards us. Her expression was even sterner than usual. I've said this before, I think, but I'm absolutely certain that the white light seen during the Shibuya earthquake is in some way responsible for your powers. You know there was a planetarium near the epicenter of the quake, right? That planetarium was bought by a certain company, and according to Shinjo's investigations, after the purchase, suspicious men were seen there many times. And at the same time, there are multiple witnesses to incidents that sound like real booting. We also know that the company is deeply related to AH Tokyo General Hospital. So what are you saying? This is just a hypothesis, but I believe that just like the basement facility, the planetarium was being used for some kind of gigalomaniac-related experiments. Did that earthquake destroy the planetarium, or no? It's possible that one of the experiments went wrong and caused the earthquake. Either way, they're experimenting on some factor that created gigalomaniacs, which was then scattered around the surrounding area. That's what I think the white light was. Some kind of material that brought out the gigalomaniacs' powers in your brains, I guess. It might not have been matter. It could have been electromagnetic waves, energy, or something similar. Oh, it's like an allergen. Not even close. Don't use words which means you don't understand. It makes you look like an idiot who needs to shut up. Arimura frowned. The two of them still weren't getting along. And so this casual factor, whatever it was sent into the brains of a lot of different people, but not all of them awakened. My research has shown that this only occurred in the young, whose brains were still developing, particularly those experiencing something that put them in states of extreme stress. I nodded. I knew exactly what she was talking about. The nature of their powers is dependent on what's... On what that something was, there we go. Or more accurately, how their minds reacted to it. We've talked about that. The wish you made decides your power, right? More or less. When I woke up from the earthquake, I felt a lot of stress in the way my body wouldn't move. I never wanted to go through that again. Not only was there the stress of not being able to move, there was a terror that came with wondering if I might stay like that forever. That's why I gained my powers with psychokinesis. When I was telling that to Kunosato, my mind flashed back to how Nona helped me with my physical therapy. She'd done her best to cheer me up at times and gentle, at times kind and gentle, and at times strict. She was always there for me. But now she was... No, get hold of yourself, Takuru Miyashiro. I forced myself to snap out of it, and then I realised that Kunosato was staring at me. Excuse me? Your powers was psychokinesis. The cause was your difficult physical therapy. That's what I thought wrongly when I investigated you. For some reason, she looked frustrated. Wrongly? I made the easy assumption, which means I still have a lot of learning to do. I should have thought of Serika Inoue a lot sooner. Huh? What do you mean? What I just said. All the psychics developed their powers after being struck by a white light during the earthquake. My guess that the earthquake put you under incredible stress and gave you something to wish for, and that was the trigger. That's how it was for you, right, Aramura? Yeah. That's what she said before. That her powers had awoken during the earthquake. That the cause was that she wanted to know the truth. The same is true of Uki Yamazoe. Dr. Sakuma's report that her powers developed right after the earthquake. And Riko Haida, the pyrokinetic, we finally finished our research on her. Kunosato pointed to a corner of her screen. It was displaying the data about the pyrokinetic that threatened us. Riko Haida was burnt on her face during the earthquake, and like the other psychics, developed her powers immediately afterwards. In her case, it was an intense stress caused by despair, and dark desire to make others share her fate that connected the two. Now you understand, right? Of course, I haven't investigated every psychic, but every single one I know awoke from their powers right after being struck by that white light. No one in my dataset developed their powers a year later. I started to understand what Kunosato was trying to say, and I felt an awful sensation. When I went back over the information, I found that there's always a major side effect whenever a psychic first manifests their powers. An unbearable headache. I believe it's due to expansion of blood vessels. That's an extremely common reason for headaches, particularly migraines. Some of our data indicates that in the case of a gigolomania, the causal factor is that the trigger that results in an excess of dopamine and similarly neurotransmitters. Fuck me, there's a lot of long words. This in turn results in the swelling. Then she paused. She's probably given me time to think. So, Miyashiro, did you feel any terrible headaches during your physical therapy? I tried to think, but I couldn't remember any pain in my head, just from the rest of my body, particularly my joints. No, I don't think so. Then there should have been a moment during the earthquake where you experienced a terrible headache, just like other psychics. I could hear my heartbeat loudly. My vision started to blur, then my heart beat so loud that I could hear it. What were you doing then? I had a bad feeling. What was I doing then? No, let me rephrase that. During the earthquake, what was your wish? Did you want to maybe move away some rubble so you could avoid some danger? Did that give you your psychokinesis? No, that wasn't what I wanted. My wish then was... Serika, save me. Please, please. For a moment, it felt like the headache I'd experienced during the earthquake come back. I grabbed my head in pain. I tried to get the idea out of my head, but it wouldn't disappear. No, that couldn't be right. What's wrong? Kunosato stared at me. And I'm going to end the episode here. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like in the section below, and if you want to see more of this, then do subscribe to the channel as I upload every day. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.